Hello, everyone.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, we
Good
need to
morning.
add our Mr. Olu here. So glad to have the team of Young Engineers and Scientia on with my show, JHC and Friends. So I want to do a quick intro of everybody. Everybody can introduce themselves, but I just want to briefly mention how Khary Henry and I believe Kasimu Henry, co-founders of Young Engineers and Scientia, are being featured today for my JHC and Friends live series. So I wanted to thank you for joining today. And this is going to be one of many, apparently, for this summer, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Khary, go ahead. I believe you're muted. I'm not sure if I think, are you on? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I know you got to run because you've got a busy day ahead of you getting ready for your summer camp. So go ahead and introduce yourself and why you co-founded Young Engineers and Scientia.
Sure. Good morning. Thank you for having all of us. We are very excited to be here. My brother, myself, and we have another co-founder, Sherelle Lawson. She is not able to make it because again, we are preparing for summer camp, which starts on Monday. Uh, our our goal of really starting these organizations was that we saw a need for our education system to really uh, focus on the skills that our young people need to be competitive in the new economy, an economy that's deeply rooted in technology and artificial intelligence increasingly. And so we feel that our organization is going to really help prepare our young people to find the pathway into the sciences and technology and to help us build a more resilient workforce locally. And I think that will make the Big Bend region more competitive, education wise as well as job wise and technology wise. And we have a great team that we work with each year, not just in summer, but through our after school program and other programs that we host year round.
And it sounds like they'll be able to handle the rest of this interview pretty well. I'm sure they know a lot of the answers to my questions because I
Absolutely.
appreciate you. And you
Yes.
said you wanted to highlight your team more than rather than just focus on you. So to me, that's a great leader.
Thank you so much. They do such amazing work, and they'll talk about some of the things we'll be doing this summer. But we also have plans long term as well over the next year. But for the purpose of this podcast, we will just talk about the summer. But we do have a great team. Joining me, my brother, and myself today is Trenton Irwin and Olu Salau. I'll go ahead and let them talk more about themselves and everything happened. But again, I appreciate the opportunity. I hope to see you on the next episode. Again, I will make sure that I'm here at a longer time. But I appreciate the opportunity. Have a wonderful time. I'll see you again.
Thanks so much, Khary, for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So how do you guys want to start? Kasimu, why don't we go ahead and start with you? Go ahead and mention a little bit. I'm guessing you guys are twins, right?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Thanks for
Because you guys
having
are
me.
practically identical. Are you guys fraternal? Identical?
Oh, identical. Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember meeting you, and sometimes I see your brother in town separately, and I'm like, Khary
Who?
or I'm
We're
I
used to
don't I
that.
think your team is probably used to it by now.
Yeah.
So can you kind of tell us a little bit of the story of why you guys started? I know Khary touched on it a little bit, but go ahead and just tell us your background. Where'd you guys go to college and go from there?
Sure. So we went to college at Stetson University. And Sherelle, I believe she went to FSU and FAMU. We all have, done our MBAs. But one of the reasons that we really kind of looked at doing, we first started Young Engineers. That was kind of just a really that first step into STEM because we really did want to start a company or bring something that would offer STEM education or resources, more STEM resources in the Big Bend region. So that was our first foray into STEM was starting Young Engineers, and then we kind of expanded to Scientia more recently, and that was due to again to kind of get a broader reach with using that because that's our nonprofit arm. So that was an opportunity for us to really kind of expand our programs as well as our reach to within the Big Bend region. So we did kind of see that years ago. There was that start of this digital revolution, and this year really kind of highlighted that. Now we see that now that we're in the age of AI, artificial intelligence. So we really wanted to be there at the start of that and kind of make sure that Tallahassee and the Big Bend region as a whole is a part of that, of this new wave, this new change. So we definitely were wanting to prepare and be a part of that change. So that was, the real reason, or one of the reasons why we started Scientiae and Young Engineers, because to bring that, to prepare just the young kids, the younger generation for the future in AI, a future in this new digital revolution, to be prepared for being able to interface with this new technology that's coming out.
That's great. And you guys also work with robots and Legos.
We do.
Right?
The Legos are a great tool to provide young kids a means of understanding mechanical engineering, because it's the building part. But we do also provide which on Trenton and Olu we'll go in more detail regarding the projects, because which really highlight that. But we kind of use the technology, the robots, for them to understand like the coding and programming. And now that we're seeing that technology is expanding quickly, it's incorporated in our everyday life. It's very important now that these young kids are able to understand and interface with this technology. So that was one of the reasons why we offer, and it's a better way to learn, like hands-on projects, so that we make sure that they learn. Because our theory is that's the best way to learn, is actually by doing it hands-on and not just reading out of a book or watching a video. So by that experience, they're really learning and getting that understanding of how to code, how to program, and how to interact and interface with technology, more specifically robots.
That's great. And I'm going to give Trenton and Olu a chance to briefly introduce themselves, and then I'll ask you guys questions regarding your programs and what you can offer to the community. So go ahead, Trenton. So you're at the top of my screen.
Yeah.
So
No, that's fine. Yeah, so my background is more like cybersecurity. I'm going for a computer science degree through TCC, and I'm going to transfer to FSU to finish off the bachelor's, and then I do plan to stay and get my master's through FSU. But yeah, I really enjoy coding. I have a very strong familiarity with Python, but I'm looking to expand in learning assembly and C++ because it's very helpful with malware analysis, which is the career I plan to go into. So that's sort of what I bring to the table, is teaching the kids the coding experience and some of the cybersecurity ideas, because that is so prevalent in today's society, and it's only going to continue growing. Once everything becomes digital, we need to secure our stuff. So it really won't go away anytime soon.
I know, and it seems to be like exponentially getting worse and worse. It's not a visible thing that's happening, but we just see the only visible thing is headlines like this company got hacked and this company got hacked.
Yeah.
So
and it extends every day. New protocols get made, new exploits get found. The more we code, the more exploits there are. So the more we have to defend against them. So it's one of those things. It's exponentially growing, and it's not really going to stop. It's just going to keep on growing, and we need people in that field to help secure our environments and not have these huge economic disasters that are caused from someone hacking our grid system or our banks. Those sorts of things.
Yeah. No, that's great. I'm so glad you're getting into it. That's really exciting. And Olu, what about you?
Hi, Julia. Well, so I'm an engineering background. I did my bachelor's in biological systems engineering at Florida A&M University, and I'm currently going for my PhD in pharmaceutical sciences right now there as well.
Wow, that's definitely like a variety there.
Yes. So after, go ahead.
Oh, no. It's just because it makes me curious, because I know AI has been being used in everything, in all industries, including even pharmaceutical world or just the healthcare industry.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is. So actually, I believe it was sometime around October or so last year, at one of the national conferences. One of the biggest and like newest parts of pharmacy was the prediction analysis of using AI to instead of doing some of the hands-on work. You can just use it to predict some of the data results that you will be getting from experiments that would otherwise take resources, right?
Wow, because it's expensive. I know.
Yes, absolutely.
Like
in order
drug,
in order for one drug to be produced, you have to put in somewhere around like $400 million. Yeah. So
yeah, like I've listened to, I mean, because I'm very I love listening to podcasts. That's why I'm even trying to do this. So I love podcasts and learning things, and I listen to interviews all the time. And one of my favorite podcasts is My First Million. So, and one of the recent interviews that the host had was Martin Scarelli, and he had invested in a drug for about 2 million with the research and everything, and then eventually he turned it around. Now it's worth 2 billion.
Yeah.
It must have been 20 million to 2 billion. I don't know. He invested 2 million.
Quite the return on investment there.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's all about finding the right type of drug, and then he also has his opinion on AI. But anyways, now that I digress, I just wanted to see about, and when I talked to Khary about this, like I wanted to feature your summer camps because my kids will be attending this summer. I'm super excited.
Nice.
Yeah,
Glad to have them. Yeah.
I'm really excited because I want my kids to get into technology early on. Like you said, I think there's a major need for young people, the youth today, to get into it earlier rather than later. And they're just the next generation raised on iPads and iPhones and stuff like that. So
well, they just at that age you just suck up the knowledge, and with it continuously expanding, if they get into it now, they'll kind of see the progression, and they can get better at seeing where the technology is going to go and continuing to learn with it. That's one of the big things in the technology realm is you never stop learning. There's not a day that you can just sit down and be like, I got it all, I mastered it. You never stop learning, and you'll almost never be able to master everything. That's also part of it. You have to go into these really sub fields and just get really good at that one thing because there's just so much. Which is why we need more people doing it, is because we don't have enough hands on deck. So yeah, if you get them started at a young age, I mean, that's wonderful. They'll do amazing. They'll succeed very well.
And it's really cool because Young Engineers, I remember when I met the Henrys, I'll just say both, that like when y'all had first started, maybe it was a couple years ago or so that we met, and things were still early stages, but y'all are growing relatively pretty quickly, right? Didn't you grow from one location and now you're partnered with a lot of schools in Leon County?
Yeah, started off with just one school as governance charter, and now I think we're like at 8 or 9. So and it's continuing our partnerships. It's not just with the schools, but with other local businesses as well, partners. So it definitely are expanding. We've seen a significant growth in the last 2 years alone.
Because there's a major need.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a major demand for this.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing the demand a lot. There's a lot of parents are definitely interested in having their kids involved or learning, getting on this early influence of STEM. So they definitely want to have them part of this new technology and learning, because this is the time, especially at a younger age, like I think Trenton mentioned earlier, from like second, third grade. That's really a time because they are sponges. They just absorb information quickly, and they're good, So that's why we kind of push the envelope, because we know that they're able to learn. They have the capability, and by planting the seeds there early at such a young age, it sets them up for having the tools, having the knowledge and experience for by the time they get into high school or even in college to be able to pursue a career in STEM.
This is awesome. And I'm going to ask Trenton and Alu a little bit more about like projects that they get into, things that they're going to teach this summer. So I don't know who wants to jump in. I think Trenton, you said you might have something to show actually.
Yeah, I've got a couple demonstrations, and we can talk about the other things that we have a lot of people with a lot of different backgrounds.
Yes.
It's really nice how much variety we have on the team. So the kids won't just be stuck doing the coding stuff with me. They'll get to work with engineers. We have healthcare industry there. We've got more computer engineers that are coming up with more coding things. I think we have a psychology
Yes.
degree, and we might have some a couple biomedical degrees. So we get a really vast slew of different types of careers in there, and they get exposure to just the whole STEM field. It's really amazing.
Yeah, we'll have our 4th and 5th graders actually learning how to make and create a bionic hand, which would be useful in the healthcare field for prosthetics and other uses. So it'll be definitely be a great learning experience for them.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
And that's the other thing, that we're able to do it at such a young age, like the 4th graders. I think a lot of it is we don't give the kids credit for how
Exactly.
intelligent they are.
Right.
And, the school system, it just doesn't get to push them as much. The funding isn't really there. That's a whole thing in and of itself. But being able to have like 3 months or more, depending how many camps they go to, and just be able to condense down a lot of information and give them a lot of exposure to ideas, and also challenge the creative side and the problem solving side of their brain. That's amazing. I think these kids that go to this camp and learn those skills are not only going to be super successful in school, because it's just going to appear very easy to them, but I think they'll be really, really good in career fields too, because they'll have that ability to bring to the table something else that the rest of the people that they just did school won't have. They'll already have so much hands-on experience, and that's what jobs are really looking for. You can have a degree and the paper's nice, and you can get in, but then they have to teach you everything. If these kids already have experience with these types of things that they want to go into career field for, they'll likely get a much better job starting out. They'll get higher pay, and then they, of course, obviously get to push the boundaries of the technology we have today. And that's really, I think, the most important thing, and the big goal of this camp is to progress society, because STEM fields is what gets society moving forward, and we want more people being able to advance society in a good way for the future generations and their generation. So, and even ours, once we get older, we need those guys to take care of us. So if we have robots that can take care of us for us, then makes it a lot nicer.
Oh,
so.
wow.
Yeah, one of the things that I saw last year is what it does is, when as a child, you in the current system right now, you go through elementary, you go through middle school, you get into a high school, and then after high school, you're deciding, okay, what college do I want to go to? Do I even want to go to college at all? And then when you get to college, it's like, what do I really want to study?
Yeah.
Right. But what this does is, you already have experience doing so many things, right? Last year, I believe they were planting, so they're getting biology experience there. They're learning about cells. They're learning all these cool stuff and then also doing the hands-on experiments. So as a middle schooler or as an elementary schooler, you're already looking like, when I get to college, well, I already know what biology is going to be like, right? Well, I already know what computer science is going to be like. This is the things I'm able to do with it. So if you're more entrepreneurial inclined, then and you feel like, okay, well, I want to create a cool gadget, then you already know, well, I can probably just go study computer science. Or if you feel like you want to work with cells, you like doing cell culture, you like plants, then okay, well, let me go do something biology related. Go study botany or something along those lines.
And that's no, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're okay. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and that's one of the things that one of the key points of this company, or both, really, is to kind of really push young people for critical thinking, problem solving. Those are very two important elements to have, especially in education, but also in the job field. Like Trenton mentioned, employers are looking for that. So how can you really, to be creative, think outside the box? And that's really what we want these kids to do, is think outside the box. Don't just go along with the crowd. look at something and see not just for what it is, but what it could be. So we really kind of want to give them that platform and that framework to say, well, if we hand you something, how can you make it better? So think outside the box, be creative, and think critically, problem solving. Those are very, because a lot of this education system, unfortunately, does not push that. It's like automated education, and that's not a way. That's not how. You can't really thrive that way. So we really want to push them to think critically, problem solve, and be creative. And again, those creative ideas that can translate into, like Trenton had mentioned, that different technologies that can be used that can help to advance society. Because as we can see, technology, STEM itself, is the driving force behind change and the innovation that we see in society. So by having that, by planting these seeds now, by providing that resources now, the education now, in 10, 15 years, these kids, we're going to see a different society, a different city, just by having them have the resources and education and experience to be able to expand on what they've done.
Yeah, and I think
I didn't mean to take you guys off there for a second.
You're fine.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Trenton. I'll follow you.
Back to Olu's point, having a goal of where you want to go before you hit college, that's super important too. I mean, one of the big, number one questions when you go into an interview, the employers always ask, well, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? And if they have a plan, they go, oh, I want to be in this career field. I want to be doing with this degree. I want to be doing this subfield of that sort of field. Then the employers are also more likely to hire you, but then you yourself have a plan. So how long do I want to stay at this company? We can do, 2-3 years, learn, and then move on to another company. And the same thing with college. Those college administrations, those programs that you get into, say for a biomedical program or a computer science program, they're looking for people that not just have the grades, but they want people that have they're doing other programs. They're doing the extracurricular activities within the camp or something outside of it, with like a community event, those sorts of things. They want to see that, because that is who they want within their program, because that's who is going to make the school look good, right? So they're going to be more likely to give out grants. There's scholarships for all sorts of STEM fields, and setting yourself apart and having those skills to say, yeah, not only do I know it, I can do it, is going to get you the grants. It's going to get you in those programs. And that's a big thing outside of just the workforce, is you're going to excel within college too, because many kids do end up not knowing what they want to do, and they either go and they quit because they don't really know where they want to be, or they go get just a base AA and they don't have any program courses, and it takes more time to go get the prereqs, and then you're spending time and money, and that can be hard. And if you don't have a lot of money, don't come from a lot, then you might not even be able to finish past a bachelor's or even get your bachelor's, because you just run out of funds to continue going to school. So saving that time and being able to get the extra funding from grants and scholarships, things like that allows the kids that might not be able to make it to that point be successful enough to get there, because a lot of these kids sorry, go for it.
A very important point also is the fact that one thing the camp is doing this year is they're partnering with schools in the lower income areas, right? They're also partnering in schools with different racial groups. So you see, there's a diversity in introduction to STEM, because this year I'll be working with Florida A&M DRS. It's a developmental research institution, and I think it's important, because if you look at the demographic of coders out there, computer scientists out there, it's typically more skewed towards the Caucasian, and less for Black or college students. And I think it's very important that their college students are also introduced to this area of education at an early age, because then it might spark an interest to increase and put out more of that demographic into jobs in cybersecurity, jobs in IT, and jobs in those areas.
Yes. No, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was one of the questions that I had, because Khary had mentioned that, I know before I had met him before Scientiae was started, but I know that organization is nonprofit, and it's going to be focused on that part, right? It's to help the underserved communities. Is that right, Kasimu?
Yes, that's one of the components that we are for. But what we're really looking at is bringing in the four facets, the four areas of Tallahassee or the Big Bend into one area. So
Okay.
we're talking north side, south side, east, west, all learning, all come together to learn and do work together in the field of STEM. So yeah, that is one area that we are looking for. Definitely want to expose, children who would actually otherwise would never have the opportunity to provide them the resources and access to STEM education. But one of the goals of Scientiae is to bring all of Tallahassee together into one area, into one region, or one location, really, whether it's physical or just metaphysical, but where we're all coming together and learning. And that diversity of ideas, that diversity of people is what helps to create innovation. So we definitely
Absolutely.
And I think that the big goal of the camp is not just to see the students be successful within a job, but we want not only all of our students to be successful, we want everyone to be successful in life. It's not just a job. We're trying to teach them skills, critical thinking skills that are helpful in everyday life. A lot of people that don't get good education, it makes it hard to make the correct decisions financially, within like relationships, it can be difficult. So all the different facets of life become more difficult if you don't have those critical thinking skills.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, more impoverished areas then have less funding for the schools and they get less education. And as much as people might want to argue it, we still see very systemic racism towards all minorities, and they do get less chances to be successful, and it's much harder for them. And we want to be able to kind of get an arm's reach into all those impoverished areas and minority areas and allow them a chance to be able to get the education they wouldn't normally do, and do like kind of help them and give them the guidance they need to do amazing in life. Because this camp is about, we love the children, we love the kids. That's what it's about, is inspiring and helping these kids with guidance. Because I think a lot of times they either just don't get that from the environment they grow up in, or they're just not provided that by society. And so we want to do that for them, to be able to provide that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. And I know you guys have a full day, and we did have a little bit of a later start. So we still have a little bit of time to just kind of mention about how you have certain projects planned out for the summer camp. I'd love to feature your summer camp. So just in case anyone doesn't know yet, you are still accepting. There's some availability through the summer. I know that it gets crazy in May, and then you just kind of forget. I'm talking about from the parent life, from parenthood, that it just sometimes things get ahead of you, travel plans, and you're trying to book and register for a camp. But I think you guys still have some availability, right?
We do. So we definitely encourage the parents to sign up, get involved. We'd love to have you, and bring some fun experiences to your kids. So,
and we're going to be hosting an open house on June 10th. So in 2 days, on Saturday, at Governor Charters Academy, I believe, correct? It is Governor Charters?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And we're going to be showcasing a lot of the projects we have coming up, sort of how the classes are going to go. So for the parents that are interested, showing up to that open house, if you're not really sure what the camp's about, that's going to give you a really good idea of what we're going to be doing.
Absolutely. It's from 10 a.m. until noon on Saturday, June 10th.
Yeah, and I know, because Khary and I just thought spontaneously it would be cool if we actually could feature some of the kids' work. So we could work something out where possibly I go there, or one of my team members go there, and then they can showcase some of the whatever it is that y'all are building. Bionic arm, whatever.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Absolutely.
Because we would have time through the summer, because I'm actually also going to work with Destiny and the team at Teenpreneur, and we're going to highlight some of their teen entrepreneurs and businesses that they're working on through their summer program as well. So summer is going to be all about the young people in Tallahassee.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, this is awesome. Is there anything else if you guys would like to close out with, any type of call to action? Because y'all are in social media, both Young Engineers and Scientiae are going to be on social media, both Facebook and Instagram, right?
That's correct.
Okay,
And I
awesome.
say look for, you can definitely check out our social media pages for upcoming programs that will be on for launching in the fall. There'll be an extension of the summer camp in terms of the project related focus and again the STEM education. So we definitely want to say stay tuned, and we look forward to being more involved with Young Tallahassee, and we would hope to see not just from our campers but new faces in the fall to be part of this new initiatives that we launch in the fall. So we'll put more information out as it comes, as it gets closer. But we definitely want to say stay tuned, and we look forward to seeing you.
And people can definitely sign up on their website and check out all
Yes,
the camp information on there.
absolutely.
So awesome. I'm really excited. Even like knowing that my kids are going to be out there. I'm in California, y'all. I'm on a little short family trip. So that's why
Okay.
my backdrop is like, but when I get back to town, my kids are signed up for July camp.
Okay.
So I think you guys are pretty much booked through June, right?
It's
getting there.
it's small, but it's filling up fast. So yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think all the families are traveling, and then July and August are like probably scrambling to fail it. What am I going to do with my kids? So
Yeah, it's either STEM or VBS, right? There's also a bunch of that going on.
That's
I've seen
true.
so many signs. I'm like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
That's a great way to fill your summer, and then school starts all over again. But you guys offer summer after school programs too. So anyone who misses out in the summer, which I highly doubt because they got some spots, feel free to reach out to them about their after school programs as well. And thanks to the Young Engineers Scientiae team for hopping on today. I look forward to featuring you guys and meeting you in person.
Well, thank you for having
Yeah.
us. We appreciate the
Awesome.
time. Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and end broadcast. Give it a few seconds.